Yep, that we are. So, starting here on Daybreak, the first game of today's Androids in Win Heart of the Swarm Open, we do have Gensai, the red Protoss, spawning in the bottom location. The map we are going to start on is Daybreak, of course. His opponent, the blue Zerg, Snitchables at the top right.
Yep. So the map is Daybreak, which recently is becoming more and more out of fashion as Heart of the Swarm comes out. We have the new maps, and of course this is a map that Zergs really like. And the reason for this is, up until the mid to late game it's okay, but as we get into the very late game, it's very good for Zergs because of the very wide open space at the fourth. They can get like a lot of spines. If they get things like some Vipers and stuff, they can abduct into the spines and the spores and stuff like that, and because it's such a good surface area, it's next to impossible for the Protoss to attack in. And this is, at the moment, like why a lot of Zergs are really enjoying this map.
Yeah, not a lot has changed since Wings of Liberty on this map in this respect, because strategies like this were popular back in the good old Broodlord, Infestor, Corruptor armies, where you held the central base as your fourth, basically, and you messed up spines in the late game, and you kept messing up spines and replacing the drones that you used to build them, and it was really almost impossible for a Protoss player to kill that base in the late game. And of course the position of the Zolnaga watchtower gives you a lot of vision, and you can cover most approaches to that center. So the only base you had to cover was the bottom right at the 5 o'clock, and if you had that one covered, you were set to go. You just had to make sure you don't gift units to your opponent needlessly. Now that we see the hatch is going down, and at the start we already saw the in-base forge, which is a really safe opening.
It is.
Snitchblades scouting with a drone as well, so he will not be confused for any longer.
No, definitely not. And I'd imagine he's gone for the drone scout because, of course, gateway openings are a lot more potent now, thanks to the mothership core and stuff like that. So we're seeing a lot more, gateway openings and gateway aggression coming out of Protoss players. And of course, like, you can't really go wrong with a drone scout, just to make sure you know what your opponent's going for. But normally, if you go for a drone scout, you do see a lot of hatches first, which I really like. And interesting pylon cannon placement.
Well, I think Gensai was hard pressed. Oh, don't! Wow, he lost that probe. So I think this was a little bit of a panicky move. I mean, the drone was like, no, leave me alone, don't kill me. I need to place down the cannon. I did, and now I die.
Yeah, and the reason this cannon's in a bit of a bad position is, like, I assume he's gonna wall off with a pylon next to like the top of the nexus at the little ridge bit, and of course if he does, then the cannon doesn't cover the entire wall, which is like obviously a bit of a mistake because any type of Zergling pressure can just target down a building. You can easily run around the cannon into the mineral line and even get some probes. So he has to be very careful with that. Very careful indeed. And now the subcore gets dropped. He's not mining from his gas yet there. Now he realizes it. And interestingly enough, he's only going for 2 in each gas. And I've had mixed experience with this. So far I've seen like extra expansions come out, or I've just seen some like 4 or 5 gateway all-ins. So this could be interesting.
Yeah, and Gensai has not rescouted the Zerg. He doesn't know if the third is going down. I think he just assumes, and he is sending his probe a long way around.
He does have another one at his opponent's tower.
Oh, that is true. That is true. But still, he doesn't know about the third base, and he won't know.
Ooh, he's got to react to the Zergling attacking his probe. There we are. He does react. But unfortunately, he is running back home, so it is not going to actually scout the third, which is quite a big deal. You need to know if that third goes down, because otherwise, if it's not there, it's normally some 2-base aggression. It could be swarm hosts, a nidus. There's so many different types of things that could come into play.
Definitely.
We do have the full wall off nearly complete, and like I said, I don't think the top gateway would be covered by that cannon, but now that units are out, it's not the most important thing. And we do have a Twilight, which I'm guessing is going to be DTs.
Most probably. I mean, +1 has not even been started, so he if it's a +2 timing attack, it would come way too late. Now these two Zerglings are going to go in and rescout. They are going to see the gases. The Overlord saw them before, but these Zerglings, just to confirm, a little bit of a mistake though, because no additional scouting information has been gathered by those two Zerglings. The Overlord already knew what was happening. Nevertheless, the third base for Switchblades is up. He's just planted down his Roach Warren. No lair on the way yet, but I imagine that will be coming soon enough once those gases finish and he gathers up some of them. So with that Roach Warren at this timing, he should be relatively safe and versus any kind of heavy gateway pressures. And also seeing those two gases kind of tells him that, hey, this is not going to be a gateway pressure. Those gases are way too soon. He even sends his Zerglings around, finds the proxy pylon, kills the probe, and you were right, this is going to be for DTs.
It is. We do have a spore being made at the third base, which is a little far forward, so I imagine that's in case some sort of gateway pressure comes. That's for like a mothership core. But you're right, the probe got taken out. There is no proxy. If DTs were to be morphed, they still take like 30 seconds to even get to their opponent's base. So I don't see this working out too well. Of course, he might warp in a bunch of DTs, morph them into Archons, and go for some sort of heavy gateway all in. And there's still quite the possibility.
That could of course happen. Now meanwhile we see Switchblades having quite a lot of Zerglings out on the field. He's just going to pressure. He did see the Dark Shrine, so he knows what is up. That's out, a little bit out of position. Those Zerglings take it out really fast, run by. That one cannon is not going to be enough, and additional Zealots have to be warped in. The Mothership Core just gathered enough energy for a photon overcharge, but decided to keep that energy on itself, not wasting one bit of it. And a nice little thing here, as soon as the lair finished, Switchblades decided to take a shit where the third base of the Protoss is supposed to be, so that won't be going up anytime soon.
Definitely not. Now we do have two DTs morphed in, and for some reason they're at the top left of the map. Actually, it's going to be for a warp prism, but it's going to the build is very the timings of the build are very bad. As you can see, the robo isn't complete yet, and it looks like he's going to go for a warp prism and then shuttle them into the main. But it's still going to be like another minute as the warp prism isn't started yet.
Well, if he can get like 5 DTs in there. As far as I remember, there are no spores, and as far as I remember, 5 DTs can kill a lair before an Overseer morphs, even if it starts as soon as you see the DTs. But right now, we do see Switchblades continuing to deny the third base of Gensai. He catches these 3 Stalkers a little bit off guard. They are trying to get away, but versus Speedlings, that's not going to work. Nice micro there, though, but here come the Roaches, and that's going to be the end.
And here comes a massive misclick as they just run into the Roaches. Now the 4 DTs run into the natural. It does get spotted instantly before any drones get taken out. So not that much damage will be done. And there's a block on the ramp that wasn't purposely done by Snitchables, but it did block the ramp, and that stops the TDs getting into the base. Now there are enough here to do a lot of damage to the Roaches, so the reinforcements or the units on the map do have to come back to clean this up. And that wasn't very cost efficient for our Protoss player. As we can see, he is at 75 supply over 150 without a third, and only now is he getting his robo base, so he will be going for Colossus. But there's going to be a lot of swarm hosts, I'd imagine, very soon, as we do have Enduring Life being researched right now, and even a Spire added into the mix. And a 4th base.
I think the Spire is just going to be for a couple of Corruptors to snipe of Observers, and a really interesting... I mean, Switchblades really rushed for those Swarm Hosts as fast as was humanly possible under the circumstances, so he is going to have a lot of them. First are already in production, and he is lacking Evolution Chambers as far as I can see, so no upgrades will be researched for them quite yet. There goes a mass recall back to the Nexus. The Mothership Core and what little army Gensai has were in peril, and with these Overseers here, those DTs are better be morphed into Archons because they're not doing any good. There we go, pushing the Archon into the door.
Yeah, at least it does block the wall off, but there's so many Roaches here that the GG gets called out, and Gensai leaves the game. So 1-0 to Apophis Snitchables.